Hey everybody, so I wanted to share with you a binder cover that I just figured out how to make, and it's a no-sew project. I did use some hot glue, but you can use what's it called, fabric tack, or if you really want to sew, you can sew. So I made myself a binder book cover. Remember back in the day when we used to have books that we would cover with paper bags? Well, I decided to try that out with a binder because it's hard to find really cute binders, and I like to change out my binders. At the moment I am using this, which I love, but I really want to switch it out for February, maybe sooner. And um, although I could cover this too, I just decided to try out with one of the other binders I have now. It is hard to find these type of mini binders cute like this. I've been looking everywhere. Um, every time Target has new ones, I barely get to it. I managed to find this by chance on clearance. And I went online looking to see if there's any cute binders, and I just don't find any for planning for my needs. You can find lots of planners out there, which are very pricey. But I don't want them because I just want the simple 3-ring mini binder, because you could just use an 8.5 by 11 paper, cut it in half, and use it, for this without having to worry about sizing and all that kind of stuff. So I was watching one of Elizabeth's video, Bee Bom Bom, where she had, I believe it was her nieces. They went shopping and bought themselves a couple of binders, and they actually covered it in fabric. But I think they just used glue and literally covered it, glued it to their binder. So I thought, well, what about, I like the idea of the fabric covering the binder, but what about doing something that is removable so that I can switch it out so it's not permanent, because I only have one more extra binder that I'm not using, which is this one. The other, I have a third one. Wait, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One of them is holding stamps. The other one is holding all my old inserts from here. And then I have this that's not being used at all. So I thought, well, why not try to make a removable cover out of fabric, no sew. And that's what I did. And I do need to, because the patterns, and this is a thin fabric, the patterns kind of show through. So what I'm going to do, I don't have any cardstock on me, do I? Let's see. I don't have any. I'm going to be inserting in here like a white or some kind of solid color cardstock just through here, and cover all this area so that I don't see the patterns coming through. Even here you can see the pattern coming through from here, and once I put this binder inside, you can see it there. Now I don't know if this fabric's going to do the same thing, which I'm going to use now, but I just love this idea. And all I used was a piece of fabric that I had, and it was already cut, so it was pretty much the right size that I needed. And some hot glue. I did use my iron to make some, nice crisp creases and to hold everything in place. And it made this. And you could tuck things in there. Now it's a little bit loose. I'm going to try to make it a little snugger when I do the next one. But look, now I have a really cute covered mini binder. And luckily this is already pink, so it kind of goes with this, but you can always cover this in either paper or more fabric to match your fabric if it doesn't. But it's a lot easier than trying to cover it, and glue everything down to your binder. And you'll have more options that way. And all you got to do then is just have one binder. So let me go ahead and start the process how I did this. There is no measuring involved. So if you have a different size binder or another type of planner that's the same concept, it just has to have cover and a spine to make it some kind of a binder. But what you do need is a fabric big enough, and it doesn't matter. I mean, if you want to have a wider part here where it actually meets in the middle, you can. This is pretty much the size that I had already, and it's going to give me, it's hard to see, about this much all around. And you have an iron close by, and depending on what kind of fabric you're using, I have water in mine for steam. And have your glue gun ready, or whatever adhesive you want to use, unless you want to sew. But pretty much you're going to put your binder right in the middle. I know you can't see the whole thing. And you're going to be folding the top and bottom first. But it's going to be underneath. So you're going to try to hold this center as much as possible. And then the other side. And the tighter the better. So you want to be as much as the same width of this binder as possible. So, because my last one came a little loose, I want this to be really snug when I slip it on. Let's see here. I'm going to have, I think that's good. Okay. So with your finger you can kind of start the crease. And I'm just going to scoot that over. So start your creases. So it kind of stays when you move your binder out of the way. Okay, I'm hoping that's enough tautness there. Alright, and I'm just going to be using this placemat. It's a padded placemat, so, and I also have my pad on my mat here, which takes heat. Okay. Actually, I gotta do something else first. So I'm just gonna start it, but I'm not gonna do it all the way. I just want to keep that in place. I'm not gonna do these edges yet because I need to close that. I should have done that first. So keep that in mind to do that first. Okay, that should hold it. But what I wanted to do was close this here because I want a finished edge. So I'm going to be ironing that down so it stays in place. And what I'm going to do to keep that down is I'm just going to use my hot glue. And I'm just going to use a little bit of hot glue, just enough to hold that down. I'm not going to go crazy with it. Only because you're still going to be going back with the iron and it's going to melt that. Okay. So that part, that side is done. Let me go back to the other side. and do the same thing. This one's going to be a little bit harder because I don't want to lose too much. Okay, to the hot glue. Is anything coming out? Yeah. I don't even know why I'm using this thing because I don't really feel it on here. So I'm barely putting any on here so I don't feel any heat. Okay, so that gives me a nice finish edge. Now if you're a sewer, go ahead and sew it, be my guest. I can sew, but I'm trying to make something that I don't have to deal with any extra steps. So now just be careful because you just put hot glue here. Don't put too much heat on that side. Just enough to make that crease again. And then the same thing on this side. To the other side. Is this even? I don't know why I felt like it looked not even. Alright, so I don't think I need this anymore. So that is almost ready. You take your binder, you try to find your center, see kind of where you want to have it. Glue everywhere. Okay, so I'm only gonna tuck one side in. Okay, so that I think looks about, well, you can close it and you can kind of see if it's even or not. I think I got too much. So I'm going to move it. Okay, I think right there. Just hold it in place, slip that out. And now what we're going to do to keep everything where it should be and to make it sealed is I think I'm going to iron that out too. Let's come back and iron this real quick. Make sure it's even. Alright. So here's the next step. You're going to seal this by just gluing them this part to this part on top and bottom. Same thing over here. Remember, all you need is a little bit of glue. If you gotta pull a little bit, just so everything stays snug. Okay, so now you have a pocket here, but you want to also these little ends here that are underneath, you want to get those down too, so I just put a little bit of glue there. And that should keep that in place. Okay, so I'm going to slip in one side in there. And this is what I wanted this time, is for it to really be snug when I slip it in. Last time it was a little loose. So now it's snug. I like that. Okay, so now it might not come out perfectly even. Like one side might be longer, this side might be, than the other. I try to keep it as even as possible, but it seems like it moved. But that's okay. So what we're going to do now is the same thing. It's going to be a little harder to maneuver, but I think if I try and iron this while it's on here, maybe it'll give me a crease. Let's see what happens. Just so it kind of holds there. Yeah, that'll hold. Alright. Alright, so same thing. A little bit of glue. You could use Fabri-Tac, like I said earlier, for this also. It's not going to get in the way because the part that slips onto your cover doesn't get any kind of adhesive. If you were to sew it, it would be a little bit different, because then you would lose some of that. I shouldn't be doing it on this mat. I'm getting glue on it. So you would have to give yourself a little more allowance if you do sew it. Just enough so there's room in there for the cover to slip in. There it is. I knew I felt something under there. And now for underneath here. And here. Okay, should be done now. I'm going to, I need to iron that one more time because I didn't do it too hard since it was still on my cover. Okay, that should be good. Let's see how this one came out. Should be snug. This time I really wanted it to be more snug. And it is. This side might be a little too much. No, it's good. Oh yeah. Much better. It's a lot more snug on here. And actually this particular fabric you can't see through it, which is awesome. I can't see through it at all. So it also depends on the type of fabric that you use. But I absolutely love it. And not only are you covering it, but now you got little sections here, which sneak peek of a paper clip that I made. Let's see if I can pull one out. Maybe this one. So you can, stick paper clips on there. Trying to find a pad that I can stick in there. Hold on. Here. See, you could use things to just stick in there. So, very easy. All you need is a binder, of course, whatever size you like. Fabric of any type, your favorite fabric. I used hot glue, but you can also use Fabri-Tac. You can sew, but if you do, when you do this part here, you will have to, I'm guessing you'd have to just figure out seam allowance. I don't know. Allowance, I mean. That you will have to figure out yourself, but again, all I used was the glue gun and an iron to get my creases nice and to hold everything, you know, really nice. And that's pretty much it. Of course, I would work a little harder on trying to get that even. My other one came out more even. Actually, almost exact. So now I have a couple of options. I do have more fabric, but I'm probably now going to be hunting for more fabric just so I would have all of these options. You can even get crazier and add stuff to your cover, like a pocket, like maybe stick on a pocket, or fabric doily. You know, lots of options here. So that is my little tutorial, and thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye now.